opposite to how they faced off against each other. Last time they faced off in this phase, RR finds themselves now down 0-2. Last time they won the series 3-0. Raven looks to be the stronger team tonight, G-Clef.
I think they are really coming in together. They have the momentum, as we mentioned. They feel confident. They're picking lots of their comfort picks. I think that's the really key to Raven's winning strategy right now. And even bringing Falstad some surprise picks coming out from DeYoung. And it was not perfect, to be honest, in the beginning of the game. But later on, those gusts were very effective. Soaking in for EXP every single time. It came in very handy. When they were trying to teamfight, they were leading in EXPs. When it was about time to hit the new talent, 13, 16, and 20 sealed and finished game number 2. So I think Falstad can be a weapon for them now.
Yeah, it definitely can be. And it was well used in the late game, let's say. The first few fly-ins or not fly-ins definitely hurt them. But it kept them even in experience. And every time they lost fights because Falstad didn't go, the experience that Falstad gained ended up being worth it. Was it always the right decision? When you look objectively, maybe you want to zoom out and compare to other teams, probably not. It was probably not objectively the right decision. But this is a decision they made, and it worked out for them. They won the game. Now we're going to Sky Temple. The map that, you know, in the past, historically, I feel like RR has had Raven's number on. But in this case, will be the map pick of Raven. They'll give the first pick, of course, over to RRRs. They have the option to pick that, and that's what they're going to take. Falstad very good here.
Of course, yes. So I think because EZG also loves to play Falstad, will be somewhat contestable. Maybe that was just for game 2, just to have the brains on the other side to think about the Falstad pick. Maybe that's going to come in handy. I think the mental war during the draft can be real. Instaban Dastar. Instaban Ario?
Probably. Not as instant as maybe we thought, but at least leading that way. And once this picks up, I think it'll really tell, or sorry, once this ban is picked up, it'll really tell us which direction RR wants to go. In game 1, they first picked the Genji. Failed to get what they wanted out of it. In game 2, they first picked the Tastor that's now removed. Went into a gray main draft. Didn't end up winning the team fights as consistently as they wanted to against Lunara damage. They're going back to game 1. We saw the Ario ban against them. They picked the Genji. So feels like a bit of a flashback right now. In that very game, it was the Karazim Rhaegar draft from Raven.
But this one will be, of course, a bigger map. I think just like in game 2, maybe focusing a little. Doesn't have to be Falstad, but they did play Dehaka a few times. And also ETC seems to be coming back. Not just the mosh pit, even the stage dive can work as a great tool for them as a global.
A lot of thought going into this one. They did think a lot before they locked in the Karazim Rhaegar. I don't think they'll do that here. It's definitely much stronger on BOE to do that. Lunara, again, sticking with what's worked so far, and the Rhaegar, so very much a game 2 draft from them now. So that was a Genji-less game. Lunara is very strong against Genji with her damage type because deflection does not work against it. It does very temporarily, but then once it wears off, the burn damage really hurts Genji.
Feels like to me Raven wants to do a similar thing to game number 2, because once they had multiple DPS, multiple assassins doing so much damage in the front line, even without a solid tank, RR was having I guess a problem trying to focus on which target to actually focus. They were focusing on Sonya, and Cestrals came in right at the right time. Sonya was healing herself up. Meanwhile, NMX was basically doing free damage the entire game. That was the biggest problem for RRR. Can they actually have better focusing this time with Genji in?
Yeah, that's the thing, because this draft is almost exactly the same, except that they have Genji instead of the Tassadar. So Genji needs to be able to get into the backlines and kill Lunara. That's something that Tassadar couldn't do, right? And so the other thing that comes in this draft, though, And we don't talk about this very often. We did at the beginning of the season, but things changed since how RR played in the Open Division. So HGC will likely have to play the Greymane, because we'll see Oduck on the Genji here. And she's not known to be a good Greymane. She has had some weak Greymane games in the past. She's more known for mage player, you know, on heroes like Gleaming, Falstad, Gul'dan. And now having to play this tough main carry hero, essentially, not the flex into Tassadar, can be a very scary thing for her because she's not as comfortable in this position. So the draft is good, but will it work well for EZZ? I don't know. I'm a little bit worried.
Maybe there will be a minor role swap in the team, who knows? But so far, the draft looks pretty balanced.
Yeah.
They got their damage. Greymane along with Genji can get kills. Tyrael for the sanctification seems like the perfect tool to synergize with the other ones. But not for Raven. ETC's banned. I don't even know if they were considering that at all. But banning a Dehaga feels like we may actually see a Falstad again coming out from Raven.
Lucio Muradin for now. Still Falstad could be the final pick. He was the final pick on Infernal. Balanced draft on both sides. Now RR needs to close it.
Lucio Rehgar. For the rotations, of course, Nara will gain that movement speed.
Very fast clear with Rehgar. Very strong with the Muradin pick, so allows hyper aggression out of Diong if he's on the Muradin in this case again. Last time RR closed their draft out with the Arthas pick against Lunara, did not work for them, was very much kited. I feel like that was one of the problems with the draft last game.
Kong was
RR.
having a hard time alone trying to do split soak when the lane came, when the lane pressure was real, especially at the bottom lane in game 2.
I just don't think that Arthas is the strong pick that they want here. I think they'd rather have a stronger solo laner.
The solo Tyrael?
Leoric.
Okay.
He's going to face similar problems, Leoric will. But at the same time, he's not going to be kited as well. He can escape. Can do a lot in team fights. Can catch Lunara potentially. Will force probably the leap pick, so won't be able to be as many pokes with the Thornwood Vines this time from Raven.
I also like Leoric pick, but Stukov solo support. Will Genji get heals? Not the burst healing that I see often.
It very much forces a second DPS to be used for Raven though, because I think Stukov almost entirely counters solo Lunara damage, just simply because he just out heals it. It allows him. Lunara does damage so slowly that it gives enough time to get his bio kill switch on everybody. He flips it, everybody gets their health back. Sure, in a longer fight, maybe Lunara still wins out, but it's very strong when you have two DPSs like this. Lunara's damage is not burst really. I think grabbing the Falstad that they did in the last game is a great option here. I think it's their best bet. Tychus is also a good one.
Illidan.
This is another way to split push, I suppose.
I think it was because Dion will be likely to be on Muradin. I think they were looking for Darvish's hero. Okay, this one is a global for sure. But the Hunt, of course, was nerfed with larger cooldown now.
Well, this is going to be their comp. Let's see if Illidan is going to be able to split push as well as we saw Falstad do in game number 2. The composition for RR was balanced in last game. It's decently balanced here as well. Strong against solo range DPS Lunara. Can they bring themselves back into this series, or are we going home tonight early? Let's find out right now on Sky Temple. Raven, Darvish on Lucio, Hamlin on Illidan, NMX on Lunara, Diong on Muradin, and Chom on Rehgar.
And in red, RR, Oduck on Stukov, MSG and on Greymane, EZZ on Leoric, Kong on Genji, and take a look on Tyrael. Kong on Genji this time.
Yeah. So that's kind of the role swap. HGC swapping to Leoric because she can't play the Grey main well enough. To be frank, I mean, Grey main from her has not been her best hero. It's a hero that she doesn't prefer, and so this
Usually MSG playing it.
this is what you said in the draft. You know, we might have a swap, and that's exactly what we do have. We're actually going to catch NMX here.
Nicely done. Do they spot Muradin though? There's a more Dwarf Toss.
He's got his Muradin bush, man. Artosis and I decided that's what that's supposed to be called many years ago, when that was literally like the only time you ever see that bush used is when a Muradin jumps out of it. Hamlin is dodging this though. Avoids that Drain Hope. Okay, Diong is silent, so can't Dwarf Toss. This was a bit of a scary moment.
Silence, the lurking arm really comes in handy when you're trying to siege, especially in when you play with Dragon Knight when you're pushing. The silence really comes in handy because they cannot use the skill. It delays a lot of the time. Like this too, when you're pushing lane, it helps. And when they hit level 10, lurking arm along with Entomb will be a big tool to cut anyone off. Even Muradin. Muradin cannot Dwarf Toss away when he is silenced. That would be somewhat handy when they're looking for picks.
It's clearly shown already, Aurora has to us, that they are going to win the early game lanes before 10. And because Illidan can't really gank on this huge map, he will need 10 before that's going to happen. We've also, before 7, the lack of cleanse for Rhaegar has been a bit of a problem. But, I mean, let's see how this all pans out. This game is still very even. I think that Aurora's biggest start to what will become their win condition is to get a few more picks in this early game, because they've been able to dominate like this already. Although, as I say, the lack of cleanse is not really that big of an issue. Can't cleanse the silence, stand in it. You can temporarily, sure, but it's not going to really save you. It did almost cause a dead Muradin, but something to think about. Okay, again, NMX is the target. The mobility of the dive that they have this game is working so much better against Lunara they didn't have last game. Oh, look at that bio kill switch too. The sustain is real. Diong is so low. NMX has to body block for him.
That cocktail was almost a kill. If Genji did few more auto attack, few more damage, I think that could have been a kill actually.
Yeah, if he had, I mean, I think cocktail was probably up in like 1.5 seconds. So that would have been 2 kills potentially if he had that. Either way. A little bit of split pushing going on from Rhaegar, who will be able to get this fast camp clear. EJ misses another one of these grabs. Hamlin is driving her back, so we'll win this top lane. They have these small advantages, that's why they have an experience lead. The temples were almost straight even, so NMX was pushed back and pressured. I have to say, I'm really impressed with NMX's Lunara. Okay, here's going to be a pick.
Stun and the boop coming up from Lucio, and Greymane's dead.
You were talking about the power of the rotational play from Lucio Rhaegar, how quickly you can run in, and there you have it. Just 1 kill for Raven, using exactly that.
Diong's play tonight has been very solid, I think. His tank goal and his Qs were on point oftentimes. And Hamlin, gotta say his play on Sonya, this time on Illidan, taking all the aggro and surviving, not really dying too many times. Really working well for Raven, and actually buying and giving lots of time and space for NMX to do free damage. It's going to be different this time because there's Genji on the other side. She can also get trapped when Leoric comes along with the Entomb.
This is true. It's going to force the leap. Like, she'll have to take that, I think. Siege Shine actually getting some extra worth out of this push. Lurking Arm will come out. Still didn't quite get the temple, but they got the, fort, but they got the healing fountain, they got the majority of it, so when this comes online, they're going to have a great lead, because there's no way for RR to tap. They will get it down very quickly, and as you guys can see, EZZ is still struggling in the top lane here. So Raven is now in a great position to take a massive advantage to get 10 first. This temple almost always decides that on this map. So now it's controlled. RR is going to have to invade, but they don't have a global to get down here quickly.
That top lane, watching it for 15 seconds was very
telling, I suppose.
Very exciting, for sure.
Okay, here's the dive onto NMX. Look at that. Lucio controls the zone there. Using a sonic boop there. Knocks them away. Saves NMX. Look, they have the healing fountain. Well, I don't know, is it really that important? Look, everybody's back at full health already. What a magical thing that is, the healing fountain. RR doesn't have that.
Q along with the E, there's a stun pair up onto Genji. Deflect coming in time. But the poison damage, as you mentioned, is he's taking a lot of damage, and that's over time, so you can't really deflect that too much.
10 is reached. They know that that's the case, so Genji actually goes home. He can't even stick around at all. If he does, he's going to get hunted. So, I mean, look, Hunt is up. They didn't take Leap, actually, which is really risky, but...
But they do have Sound Barrier and Ancestral, so I think Lunara feels safe, somewhat safe.
I guess when you're this ahead, too, when you're able to get a free boss, you feel like you can pretty much be greedy. Because catching up is going to be such a challenge for RRR. Boss, unfortunately, not contested by the Sank they wanted to. They knew Sank was going to be up. Already Lucio was there to deny that. Booped him away before Sank was even ready. Pretty sure that fort has negative hit points. All right, Boss is pushing. RRR does have 10. There's a few things they can use to try to turn this into their favor. They need to be coordinated with how they defend. They're moving away from the boss now. This is exactly what Raven wants. They just want to slow this down. NMX is dove upon. Dragon Blade comes out. Needs that Ancestral. Where is it? Sound Barrier way too late. Way too late.
But I think this is worth it. Even if they lose Darvish, the boss is working towards the keep, and Hamlin will get this fort alone. And even if they lost 2 members, if Aurora cannot do too much, and it seems like they're not really doing too much. Just doing some wave clear, this boss onto the wall, going to the keep, not really taking down the keep, but did a lot of damage alone.
Yeah, it feels really reminiscent of Infernal Shrines, where they lost objectives and then got kills afterwards. And if Raven had played that a little bit cleaner, everybody would have survived. Like if the Sound Barrier is a little bit faster, then NMX gets out, then the Entomb doesn't go off, and maybe everybody survives. It's crazy to think that I can see moments of brilliance in Raven right now where I'm saying, wow, they're making every right decision. If they could just mechanically play a little bit better, then they even get further ahead than they are right now. They're playing really well.
So this could be a big moment. Illidan can join in anytime with the Hunt, so Genji has to come down, just in case.
Okay, here's an Entomb. This time they have all the tools available.
And the next is
Silence,
but barely enough damage at the end.
Ancestral is available, but didn't use it, and I guess he was like, you should Sound Barrier, but it wasn't ready. It was about 10 seconds away, so maybe some miscommunication there. Again, this fort will finally go down now, though. Well, they're just going to walk away, look for the shrine, and then potentially a Hunt in. Haven't seen it yet. It's on a really long cooldown, so it's still 20 seconds to go before he can show us that. So this looks like a pretty even trade so far. But the lead already in favor of Raven in terms of structural damage, so an even trade is a positive one for them.
Aurora got the fort. They have to do more. They are just hitting 13, but with that tempo and the bot pushing, maybe they were trying to take the camp, but the camp is still not up yet. I think that's the biggest problem there. If the camp was, I think they could have invaded actually with Illidan still staying on top. So instead they're going for their own camp timing.
And they got the last 5 shots, so RR again loses the exchange because they're down on structures, but they didn't lose it as very hard. They actually played it safe. They still have all keeps available, and until that is changed, I think playing like this is certainly okay. After that changes though, after they do lose a keep, they won't be able to make plays like this much longer on this map. Okay, take a look, very aggro. DeYoung will escape with his life. Camp taken here. This is going to be a very bloody exchange over mercenaries. Illidan's already headed down to get free soak in the bot because it's so easy for him to do so. And look at all the clear that they have with Lunara. It's pretty insane.
Cocktail will do some damage, but they will just heal up for the time being. They have to make this push much more. They have to take the wall down, do some damage onto the force, now onto the chase.
Okay, Leoric can hunt in. Or sorry,
Leoric can hunt in?
Nah, he can Royal Focus in. Didn't actually take
looking
it
for
to
the Entomb angle there. Ooh, actually gets stunned. I think he was looking for the entomb angle. Darvish was almost getting caught.
Look, HGC committed in. Did not hunt in, but did Wraith walk in. Illidan did not, so got extra soak. They failed this. Illidan's going to sneak in from behind. They don't have vision of him. He's actually could save his hunt.
That's right. The watchtower is still on to Raven's side.
And so because HGC committed, no one's stopping this push here. So Hamlin gets more and more value. And now the rotation down is there, but he's going to go get the more available soak in bot. Might even take blue side camp right after this.
And they will be hitting 16. The camps are back. I believe the boss is coming back in a minute or so too.
Yeah, the boss should be up in like 30, I think. The 6 o'clock camp, 6 o'clock temple is going to be a tough one.
comes in and he's going to contest for the and
they get it.
Hunt.
Swipe is really well used, but I think it's too late. Hamlin didn't get hit by it.
Kong dies. He does not escape. Aldog's going to be the second one. MSG seems like he will also get caught.
And when you have Lucio on your team, nobody lives. Nobody's getting out of here. MSG could be in trouble. Hamlin wants it. Not going to be able to get it. MSG's control is good, but with 3 dead, I think this might actually be game over.
Yeah, they can get the camp, they can get the tempo and the boss right after. Or they can just go for the core if they want to. Let's see if Leoric has 2 hearts back if they're going for the core. I think he's a little too late now.
Okay, Illidan is here. They have so much damage coming out from Lunara. They have Avatar. It's already used here. GG does respawn. MSG is trying to get the kill, uses his go for the throw, but he's going to die so quickly here, and so will the core.
The healing comes back, but all 5 men are there, and Ancestral's there. There's another kill, and it's 3-0. Guys, Raven have a 3-0 series tonight.
Raven gets the 3-0 they've been looking for all season long. It's been a long road for this team. They had some difficulties in drafts. They had some difficulties adapting to the new roster, to the position swaps. But finally, I feel like 2 series in a row, we're seeing good rotational play out of them, good shot calling. Are the mechanical issues still there? Yes. Are we seeing perfect fights for them? Perfect retreats out of their rotational plays or trying to snipe forts? No. But I feel like they're getting closer. And I think that the last 2 weeks have really shown improvement for this team. Was defeated by RR last time they faced in part 1 of phase 2. So a lot changing already here, and it feels like a happy night if you're a Raven fan to finally see good play, better understanding of objectives, and Lunara as well. One of the only teams to play Lunara consistently.
Not just as a counter against Vala, and I think today's really shows the upgrade, what they have been working on. They never, ever focused this much on global. Every single time they did today with the Falstad, with Illidan, the Hunt really was used to soak up split soak all the time. Didn't really join too much into the team fight with the Hunt, but every time he was there on the other side, soaking the EXP, got the talent lead just like in game 2. And I can't believe that they just did that today. And it worked against our, of course, the weaker team in HGC right now, but against a stronger team for Raven if they have to contest against, let's say, L5 or Tempest. I think they'll have a tough time still, but it shows improvement in their global, which they have not been doing at all this entire year.
I think it's definitely a pretty good sign that they'll be able to get through the Crucible. Like, I think that's what this tells us more than anything else. Because if you're a Raven fan, you're not hoping they're going to beat Tempest. You're more realistic than that because you're a Raven fan, right? And you're thinking, all right, I hope this team stays in for next season. I hope they can get through the Crucible. It's going to be a tough time. And as it is, so far, improvements have been made week to week. And for me, I'm just happy, man, we had 2 Raven series back-to-back. No Asmodan. No Asmodan.
Yes, DeYoung actually played a decent, pretty good Warden. And
he's back on tank.
Yeah.
He's playing tank well.
It was good.
It was pretty good.
Pretty decent. Not just today, last time also. And his Warden plays are solid. Ancestral does have help all the time. And as a solo tank, I think he's fine in the team and really fits into the meta. He's not really following the double support. They're not really following the double support, double tank meta too much, as we saw game number 2, no tank at all. But but it worked and they won, and the results are what matters.
Certainly. So we are going to have an interview with our MVP. I wonder if it'll be DeYoung himself tonight. Probably NMX.
NMX, yeah, I think NMX. Those Lunara plays, or even Hamlin. I think he was pretty decent in the front line with Sonya and Illidan in game number 3.
This is true. Definitely probably one of those three I think will make it in tonight. Chom definitely had some decent plays, but wasn't as flashy as usual. So Darvish as well. We're going to find out, though, who it is and what present he's going to get. G-Clef translating. Take it away.
야!
Darvish!
Best
항상 이제
translator
패배!
ever. That's Darvish!
아이콘이라고 신정민 해설위원이 이야기했는데 오늘은 드디어 승리를 따내면서
Now finally
저희가 손이
you
집계를 해보니까요.
are up here.
세트 듯이 오늘 3대0을 만들어가지고
네.
와 이렇게 되면 아라라를 넘었어요.
There was
세트
3-0 and now you
에서 승이 하나 더 많아요.
하나 더
changed.
많아가지고 세트에서
Now you've gone up to 7th place and dropped RRR down to 8th place.
우와 7위에 올라왔습니다. 이게 정말
Finally, you guys came up to 7th place. Finally!
정말 오랜만에 해보는 인터뷰라서
And
되게
it's been a while since I was
어색해요.
interviewed last
그리고
time.
사실
So it's very nervous.
인터뷰는 생각도 못 하고 있었어가지고
For me, I wasn't really expecting to be
이기려고 마음은 먹었거든요.
interviewed, but
이기려고
we did have a
마음 크게
mindset
먹고.
that we wanted to
그래서
win
오늘 제가 좀
tonight.
관여를 많이 했어요. 원래 그 저희 레이븐은 그러니까 뭐 시청자들께서 좀 많이 안 좋아하시는데
And I know there are
목표가
lots of
일단 게임 즐거우려고
anti-Raven
하는
fans,
거잖아요.
but
그래서
we try to have lots of
그렇다고 막
fun
즐겜을 한다는 게
when
아니라
playing. We're not
저희는 항상
trolling
지지하긴
to the
하되
part,
그냥
but
즐겁게 하는 것뿐인데
we want to
너무
enjoy
많이
and play in
넣어서
HGC as much as
아무래도
possible.
좀, 무늬만 주장이지만 주장 입장에서 좀 되게 많이 속상해요.
As a captain,
그래서 그런 거 좀
I
많이 알아주셨으면
do feel very
좋겠어요.
bad, but I just wish that all of you guys know that we're playing seriously.
오늘 나온 걸 거 아니에요.
네.
예, 우리 선수들이 특히 이제 띠용 선수가 시작하기 전에 막 이렇게 주먹을 불끈 쥐면서 막 뒤에서 이렇게 가자 막 이런 액션 치는데 이게 어떤 의미였나요? 어떤 얘기한 건가요?
What were all the actions? What was going on in the booth?
저희 막 픽밴 할 때도 그렇고 저희는 항상 대화가 되게 많은 편이거든요.
네.
팀원들과는
Even during draft, we actually have a lot of communication between the
그걸로 막
teammates.
즐겜하면서 막 웃는다 막 이러면서 되게 싫어하시는 분들이 있는데 저희 모토는 팀원들 5명은 동등하되
Our motto is
서로
to
까내리지 말고
keep the same for
웃으면서
5,
하자,
do
이런
not blame
거라서
anyone, not
서로
to
좀
be
공감을
mad at
되게 많이
anyone,
주고받거든요.
but also to
그리고 또
enjoy
아마 그렇게 막
and to smile a lot.
뭐 게임에 임하는 자세 이런 거라기보다 그냥 약간 웃기는
And that's
그런
why we always
긴장
laugh
풀자
in the
이런
booth even when we lose.
웃으면
We try to
일이라고
keep the good
하잖아요.
atmosphere.
네, 다만 한 가지 물어보고 싶었던 거는 경기를 보면서
네.
1세트에서
네.
카라짐과 레가레가 둘 다 탑과 바텀을 동시에 먹고 있었잖아요.
네.
네, 이 아르타니스가 죽고 있는 상황에서
Game number 1,
그때 뭐
Karazim and
와서 막 살려줘 막 이런 얘기는 안 했었나요?
Artanis was
계속 라인을 먹고 있었는데.
taking the
아무래도
line, taking EXP from the top lane actually, not really helping your team. What was going on at the
서로
time?
양 힐러가 2명이니까
We had double supports. So,
이랬던 것 같아요.
I think we were thinking that either one of the supports will be keeping our teammates alive, and it did not really work perfectly there.
강등권을 면하기 위해서는 어떻게든 6위권까지 막 계속 치고 올라가줘야 되잖아요. 근데 6위에는
To not go to Crucibles,
있어요. 개인적으로 미라클 팀은 좀 어떻게 생각하세요?
and Miracle standing in 6, you do have to go up to 6th place. How do you think Miracle is right now?
아니 미라클이 그러면
네.
둘이 이제 붙게 되는데 다음 주 일요일 날
네.
You guys will be going against each other next Sunday.
좋겠다는 얘기는 레이븐이 미라클이 이겼으면 좋겠다는 얘기예요, 아니면?
Are you saying that Raven will
예,
defeat Miracle, your previous team?
상대로
이겨야죠. 이겨야
이겨야죠.
되는데
Of course, I do have
모든
to win
승부가 될 것
against
같아요.
them.
왜냐면은 항상 이렇게 저희랑 미라클이랑 경기 이렇게 겹치는 날을 이렇게 대기실에도 보곤 하는데
Whenever we come to a gen and have a match on the
저는-
same day, I do
그러니까 제가 많이 편해 보인다고 그러더라고요.
네.
일단 막 게임하면서 웃고 그러니까
talk to Miracle,
이번엔 아마 힘들어질 것 같아요.
이번에는 그리고
and
네,
they
아바투르 인터뷰.
often when Miracle says that it seems like Darvish is a lot less pressured in Raven right now.
누구인가요라는 질문이 좀 들어왔어요.
아무래도 제가
Who's
본인
the-
주장이고 실질적 비선실세인
Who makes all the atmosphere
아,
in the team?
제가 원래 그
As I'm the
저번에
captain, I
픽변하면서 막
do
웃는다고 그래가지고
consider and think about the
카메라에
atmosphere a
잡힐
lot.
때만큼은 좀 진지한 모습 보여주자 웃지 말자 이러려고 했는데 한번 빵 터진 게 방송에 나간 적이 있었어요.
네.
And also there was a
그
moment.
웃음을 만들어내는 게 띠용용이거든요.
아니 근데 도대체 어떤 얘기를 해서 그렇게 빵 터트린 거예요?
사실
Not
보면서
that we're
굉장히
not being
궁금하거든요.
serious,
아,
but
네,
Diong
네,
is just
그게,
so funny.
이렇게 선수들끼리 이렇게 채팅을 하잖아요. 뭐 기선제압 같은.
Even when we were
하는데
waiting in the room,
뭐 강팀들 사이에서 저희도 이렇게 막 하고 있고.
we chat
있는데
against each other.
이번에 히오스 그 이모티콘이 생겼잖아요.
네.
And
거기서
now
이제
with the
가슴과 우아하는
emotes
이모티콘.
into the Heroes of the Storm.
띠용이라 부르거든요.
아 그걸 띠용이라고 불러요.
네, 근데
They're sending each other
그러니까 상대가
emojis.
뭐 재미없는 얘기를 하던가
네.
말도 안 되는 소리를 했을 때
어.
그 띠용 이모티콘을 날려주는데 그
아.
옵저버 분께서 오늘 키플레이어는 다르비시 선수입니다 하고 딱 제 얼굴을 비치는데
어.
저거 아닌데 이러더니 갑자기 그 띠용 이모티콘을 막
And Diong pops some random emojis that makes
네,
an
제가
awkward
막
moment for him.
안
So
웃으려고
Darvish
너무 웃겨가지고
once when he was on camera, he bursted out because whatever Diong did made no sense at all.
그렇게 만들어가는 거를
그리고
뭐 지는 경기도 웃기게 만드는 거 전부 다 띠용 선수의
So
실질적
드립이다.
실세는 띠용 선수다.
띠용
네.
So
선수
Diong
모든 거 있어서.
Diong is the one that makes all the
그래도
atmosphere
그
in the
팀원들
team, right?
전부가 그러니까 일단 서로한테 상처도 안 주고 상처도 안 입으니까 사이도 좋고.
And we don't
그렇게
really
즐겁게
blame
게임할 수
anyone. We don't hurt
그래도
anyone in the
이제는
team.
성적을
So-
낼 욕심들이 분명히 있을 거 아니에요.
So we all
블리즈컷 한번 가보고 뭐 아니면은 올해
have lots of fun playing the game. But of course, as a competitive player, you want to aim higher, really go up high as you want to go to
그래도
BlizzCon.
제 개인적인 욕망으로서는 아직까지 좀
As a personal
그런
desire,
야망이 남아있죠.
그렇죠.
I still,
띠용
of course,
선수도
do
그런
want to
야망이
climb
있-
up
그
a little bit
야망을 넘어서
higher.
그 선수에게 욕망이 있을 거 아니에요.
그렇겠죠.
You do have the passion.
있죠?
네.
예, 있어요. 있을 거예요. 확실하죠, 있죠?
네, 확실하게
주먹을
It has to be
불끈
there,
쥘 때
right?
네.
저는
It's
좀
there.
느꼈어요.
Huh? Right?
오늘은 반드시 이기자.
무조건
Today
이기자.
we really
가자,
felt
블리즈컷.
your
그러니까
passion.
확실한 거죠?
네, 항상 근데 그게 있어요. 저희가 게임을 이기던 지던 가장 기뻐하고 가장 화내는 게 띠용용이거든요. 그러니까 화를 낸다는 게 막
Either way, if we
저희한테
lose or
화를
win, the
내는 게
one that
아니라
gets
스스로 분해해요.
most
스스로
serious
빼고 막
and
뭐
gets
자다가도 막
actually gets
블리즈컷
mad is
막
Diong.
이런 거에
He's
막
the most passionate
스트레스
one, I
받고 그럴 것
think.
같은데.
네, 뭐
왜냐하면 그 선수가 그렇게 승부욕에 있고 뭔가 진짜 이 욕망이 있는 이유는 뭐냐면요. FF 출신이거든요.
그렇죠.
FF
The reason why he has the desire, the passion, is because he's from FF, the team that King that originally created back in 2015, since the beginning of Heroes.
레이븐에서 지원 갈 수 있는 거 아닙니까?
네,
그죠, 그죠?
지원가 아니죠.
지원가 아니에요?
네, 근딜.
근데
And even
네,
Diong used to
근딜이.
play melee.
이라면 망할 것 같은데요?
아주 어쩔 수 없습니다. 네,
없어서
근딜로 모셔야 돼요.
아 그래야 돼요.
네.
알겠습니다. 자 그러면은 이 수많은 팬분들에게 이번 시즌 많은 경기가 남지 않았는데
And of course,
각오한
not
말씀,
many
그리고
matches
어떻게
left in
받아들여
the
한번
season.
해주시죠.
You want to give a shout out to your fans, please?
사실 제가 들어올 때 원래 레이븐은 그 강등전만큼은 면하게 하고 싶었는데
Honestly, when I came into the team, I wanted this team to not go back to the Crucible, but
사실 저는 안티도 그 팬이라고 생각하거든요.
even
관심
the
주시는
anti-fans, I
거잖아요.
think they are
이런
fans.
좀 관종처럼 느껴질 수 있긴 한데 그래도 좀 저희는 던지는 게 아니고
still,
막
but
그렇게
we are actually not
받아들이려고 막 그러는 게
throwing
아니라
any games.
그러니까 모토가 즐겁게 게임하자.
Our motto is to enjoy, to have fun.
이해해 주시고 봐주시면
So I wish you understand and keep on watching us, keep on rooting for us.
앞으로도 계속해서 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 선물이 기다리고 있거든요. MVP이기 때문에.
네.
And of course, because the MVP, you're on the MVP desk, there are lots of presents.
TDL도 있어요.
TDL도 있어요.
There's Tyrael.
Oh my god, he has to get Tyrael.
나한텐 이거 무조건 줘야 된다.
He has to. Like, it's not a debate.
Which one?
티리엘이요.
Of
Tyrael,
course he
of
picked
course.
Tyrael.
TDL
No
진짜
toilet
앞에
tissue,
있는
Wolf.
바로
No.
TDL 드리겠습니다. 이 TDL을
우와.
선물로 드리겠습니다. 얼굴이 없는 TDL 똑같죠? 보시면.
네.
알겠습니다. 축하드리고요.
감사합니다.
The faceless Tyrael there.
선수였고요. 오늘
And congrats, Darvish, for tonight's win. And that's it. Here's the result.
All right, so Raven takes it 3-0. You know, it's tough to call this an upset, but I think the biggest thing was that Raven looked strong today, and as Caster Park said in the interview, felt the passion of Darvish, felt the desire of the team to do well, and again, that's going to be very important for going through the Crucible. This team will not go to BlizzCon this year, and they will not necessarily even be in HGC 2018. However, we know that they have been improving quite a bit. They passed RRR with this map score 5-30 versus the 6-30. So just literally by one map, because they had to win 3-0 to pass them. They did. It's not necessarily going to stay this way either.
Yes.
But they move up out of 8th place for the first time here in Phase 2.
And they're not a perfect team anymore. They got that 1. It's not anymore 0-10. It's 1-10 on the other side. So, but RRR can also catch up if Raven does not improve. And if what they've shown tonight was it was amazing from what we've seen so far. But if they cannot really contest well against Miracle, maybe next set of matches coming up, I think they can still drop down to 8th. That's a big wall for them to climb up.
Yeah. Definitely a scary moment for the RRR fans as well, where them losing to Raven tonight could be indicative of potential struggles in the Crucible. And both of these teams will have to win the remainder of their matches in order to avoid Crucible, which is very, very difficult, but there's still hope. Now, tomorrow's matches are probably the best of the weekend.
Hyped.
Tempest will face off against L5, and then Miracle versus Mighty, the revenge match potentially here for MVP Miracle. Crazy moving now on main tank.
Yes.
Mighty.
It's official.
Mighty as well, officially switching positions back to the standard positions where they were nearly able to get a spot in the Eastern Clash. This is going to be a great set of matches tomorrow night. Do not miss it.
Oh, yes. Even starting from match number 1, Tempest versus L5.
Yeah, I mean,
that will be amazing.
The second series could go the distance too. I really think that with Crazy moving on tank, this is a totally different roster. They look so good, and I mean, we saw it the first time. We were wondering. We spent time talking to Crazy moving about it. He's very confident. He officially changed positions on the roster. He's talented.
That's what he said.
And I think that this team could make a great run through potentially the gauntlet for playoffs if he comes to the role. Yeah. I mean, I really do think you can't count Miracle out now with this new positions. And I hate position swaps. I'm the biggest hater in HGC history.
I'm
like,
confirm, guys.
I'm like, don't swap positions. But in this case, I think he's incredible so far from what we've seen. A good change.
Yep, and of course the match number 1, Tempest versus L5. Still a lot of people favoring L5, but who knows? We may see double upsets coming out tomorrow.
Guys, don't forget, Europe is coming up in a few hours. In a few hours after that, there'll be North America. But most important of all, tomorrow night, we'll be back here with more HGC Korea. Great matches for Saturday evening, and we will see you guys then. Have a great night.